Greetings from Bermuda, this is BDA Limey and welcome back to The Longing, a game about patience and waiting for stuff to happen. So, last time we left the Shade excavating underneath his house, and it looks like he's made some progress, so we're going to check in and see what he's done. And then also going to go back to the pool of water that we discovered last time that has now filled up, so we can swim across that and see what's on the other side of that. So let's jump back in. So we now have this little space here, which is cool, and of course we can keep excavating this way. I'm looking for a place to build my bed, but I've not seen. Doesn't look like there's any place. Well, I don't know, maybe when we walk back this way it would let us build it here, I don't know. Looks like we're starting to excavate some more steps down here. So maybe we can leave this as his task at the end of today. So for now, let's just come back and see whether we have the option to build a bed. Excellent. Now how long is that going to take though? This would be a nice place for a bed. To build one I'd need 20 moss and 10 wood. I currently have 23 moss but only 4 wood. Wow, okay. I thought I had more wood than that. What a disappointment. Okay, so 6 more wood needed before we can make that bed. So I guess we're going to have to do that another day. But for now, we will head back to the pool. And hope that maybe there's some more wood on the other side of that. Our room's looking pretty nice now. Got a bunch of crystals, a bunch of pictures up on the wall. Some more paper would be good, so we can make some more pictures because we've now run out. But yeah, we're counting down about 3.5 seconds of game time for every second of real time for as long as we're in our room. But once we leave our room, we are counting down in real time again. Also trying to collect 100 coal, 7 disappointments I think it was, and 3 gold coins to unlock the next set of advice from the face. So the coal we can just gradually pick up over time. The disappointments we gradually pick up over time. It's just the gold coins that I'm not 100% sure where we get those from. There is a treasure hoard. It looks like we might be able to do something with the glass, with the mattock, but it also made a comment about the glass being very hard. And I'm slightly worried that we could do something that breaks our mattock. In particular because we've seen a second mattock lying around. It's not currently accessible. but in the mines area there is a second one. So I would prefer not to lose our current Matic just yet, if that is indeed a risk. Now this was the corridor where lots of coal seems to drop. It's actually a good place, I think, to farm it. No, that went away. I should check on the entrance to the library here. I'd really like to be able to get in here, but I think we've got to find a back way in. This door should lead to the library, but it is blocked from the other side. I will add this event to my list of disappointments. I now have 6. That's strange. I thought I'd already tried that. Surprised it's counting the disappointment again, or maybe it isn't actually. Who knows? But I think we're only one short of the number of disappointments we need for the face. This way? I'd forgotten which way it was. see what's over here. Hoping for some yellow chalk, some more wood, some paper. Ooh, this looks like a similar door to the library door. Surely this couldn't be the other entrance to the library, could it? Before I go in, I'm just going to check over this side. Just make sure there's no way to go over here. There is not. Well, let's see. This looks like the entrance to the library. Awesome. Books. Books. Are we going in? We have to wait for the door to open. Nice. Alright. A book. One day these pages will crumble to dust. I hope to have the chance to read them first. Now I have 6 books at home. A book. I will be the first and only one to ever lay my eyes upon these pages. I now have 7 books. Okay, once again we're just going to check over here. Nope. This one has quite a promising title. Hopefully it will live up to it. This book has aged a lot during its stay down here. So have I. Okay, well let's go up first. Does this book contain the clue I need? The cover is torn, but the pages are alright. I am looting the library. I hope the king doesn't mind if I borrow one of his books. This book will help keep me company at home. Welcome, friend. So many books. My goodness. Do you belong here, book? I better take you to a safe place. also going to bookmark this, haha. No pun intended. Yeah, I think we can overwrite that now. This book has dust all over it. I like a good story with layers. Oh wait, there must be more. This book will be fun to read for sure. Oh, and that's what's blocking the way in. How are we going to move that? It's not exactly in mint condition, but it should make a pleasant read at home. Okay, 18 books now at home. What a shame to see a fine book like this on the floor. I will end this blasphemy. The door is blocked, but it would merely lead back to the palace. Oh no, can I not actually move it? I have to take the long way around. Okay, well, I guess that's it, unless there's somebody who's going to restock the shelves at some point. Well, let's head back home and check out our new book collection. He's taking a different route back. That's interesting. whether I should... Should I try the Matic on the glass of the treasure room? Go on, let's do it. We're here. And if it breaks, I'll be really mad with myself. Treasure is behind a nearly impenetrable window of crystal glass. Well, go on then, let's try it. I could try to break the glass with my Matic. It certainly seems like a bad idea. Oh no. Okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to chicken out. The king might be upset. And I don't think that can be the source of the 3 gold coins I need. Because there's a lot more than 3 there. Nah, I missed it. Too slow. Oh wow, check that bookshelf out. Oh, time's going much faster now. 2.5 seconds. No? Oh, I can move the rug. I knew I could move the rug. Let's go sit in our armchair and check out our new books. Read a book. Okay, so first let's have a look at our thoughts. See whether there is anything new here. I have seen nearly every area of the cave. Okay, I really need to read more. My dream would be to find a book that never ends. Yeah, I must find somewhere where the rest of the wood is. Okay, so the Goose Girl we had at the start, Thus Spoke Zarathustra Part 1 we had at the start, Moby Dick we had at the start, Poems 2 we found, Metamorphoses. I wish it told you who these were by. 49 pages. If I had a classical education, I would probably know. The Six Swans, that could be another fairy tale. So the Goose Girl is one of Grimm's fairy tales. I discovered after reading it. Six Swans is only 12 pages. I wonder if that may be as well. Fables 1, 109 pages. Aesop's Fables. Okay. There's a Thus Spoke Zarathustra Part 2. Hey, real work, how's it going? It's just Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Who was that? That was Nietzsche, right? Amontillado. Ah, that tells us who it is. The Cask of Amontillado. I think I know that story. Edgar Allan Poe. Or there was an adaptation of that story. Where did I read an adaptation of that story? Can't remember. Rings a bell though for some reason. Thus Spoke. How many pages in? Okay, 154 pages in volume 2. How many pages in volume 3? 181. Wow. Lots of adaptations, but even some. Yeah, I think it's a. I think it's a. There was some game. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Can't remember what it was. The Iliad parts 1 to 13. Now, did I read the Iliad? I did not read the Iliad. I read the Odyssey. So the Iliad would be... I think the Iliad would be a fun read, actually, although 301 pages. Do I want to read it in this game, is another question. Ooh, the Nibelungen Lied. So, this was... I don't know who wrote this, but what I do know is Wagner's opera, The Ring of the Nibelung, which was based in part, I believe, on this legend. And also The Lord of the Rings was based in part on this legend as well. Yeah, there's a series of 4 operas, and the first opera in particular is great. It's only 2 hours long, and it's got some great music in it. But I've never read the legend on which it's based, and it's 839 pages long, so I'm probably not going to start now. Iliad parts 9 to 17. The Raven, that's Edgar Allan Poe, yeah, okay. 8 pages, ooh, short story, okay, we like that. Have I ever read The Raven? Don't think I have. Wait, was that a short story or was that a poem? Poem, wasn't it? Thus Spoke Zarathustra Part 4, only 190 pages. Fables Part 2, more Aesop's Fables. 3 Tales. Could that be another Grimm's fairy tale, maybe? 3 Tales. So there's probably 3 of them. And The Golden Bird, which could maybe be another Grimm's fairy tale if I was guessing, not sure. I do like the mix of books that they've picked. It's kind of classic stuff mixed in with fairy tales. Kind of seems to fit the whole vibe of this game pretty well. So I know there's the idle reading thing, and you can leave him just reading, and I have a feeling that there might be secrets or hidden stuff in these books as well when we get to certain pages. But there's a part of me that doesn't just want to leave him idle reading. This part of me wants to read the stuff, because it's a good excuse to. Having said that, what we might do once we've finished our excavations is just leave him idle reading Moby Dick, because there's no way I'm reading 1282 pages of Moby Dick in the game. It is on my list of classic books that I want to read maybe someday, but I don't know. It's a bit long, and it is supposed to be a bit boring as well, and I'm not really a big reader of the classics. I've kind of dipped into a few recently. I'm actually reading Anna Karenina at the moment, but I don't know. I don't really love many of them, I have to say. Okay, well, that's nice there. More books for our library. So let's read something before we sign off tonight. So any requests for anything? Something short. We're not going to read anything long. But we could go for one of the fables or the fairy tales or one of the poems. We still haven't finished all of poems 2. We just read the first 2 of those completely random poems. So yeah, if you have any preferences, let me know. Otherwise, I will just pick something. How long? That's longish. Longish. Although if there's 3 tales, it's not so bad. The fables are all pretty short. The Raven's pretty short. Okay, well, if there's no preferences, then I think we'll finish off tonight with a reading of The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Not necessarily very good at reciting poetry, but I will do my best. Is it a scary book? Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever read it, so this is good. I'm actually quite psyched about reading this. Let's try it. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary. One thing actually about this is I think it has suffered a bit in the conversion to the game format. And the line endings are not necessarily in the right places, which makes it harder when you're reading poetry. So what I'm going to do, I think, is get up a copy here on the internet and read from that instead. I'll try and page through roughly the same speed as I'm reading. so you can follow along. But hopefully if I get the line endings in the right place, then I might actually be able to read it a bit better. Okay, here we go. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal had ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but, with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched, and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door. bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther then he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight glowing o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempter tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden if, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. That was The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I should be reading more. You are absolutely right. Okay. Well, let's leave him with a job to do for the evening. We began the excavation down here. Thanks. Some words I didn't quite know how to pronounce there, but I didn't mangle it too badly. That actually reminds me of my favourite poem, which let's get him doing his thing. And I'm going to kind of cheat because I don't think we have this poem in our bookshelf, but I'm going to cheat. If I can find a copy of it. Yes. Okay. So when I was growing up, my mum had this book of poetry. It's kind of a very old book. I think a hardback. It was kind of falling apart and some of the pages were coming out of it. And so I kind of used to enjoy looking through that when I was a kid. None of the poems really did that much for me, but there was one poem in there that was super creepy, and I really liked it. And this is it. It's quite a short poem. It's called The Listeners by Walter Delamere. Is there anybody there? Said the traveller, knocking on the moonlit door, and his horse in the silence champed the grasses of the forest's ferny floor. And a bird flew up out of the turret above the traveller's head, and he smote upon the door again a second time. Is there anybody there? He said. But no one descended to the traveller. No head from the leaf-fringed sill leaned over and looked into his grey eyes, where he stood perplexed and still. But only a host of phantom listeners that dwelt in the lone house then stood listening in the quiet of the moonlight to that voice from the world of men. Stood thronging the faint moonbeams on the dark stair that goes down to the empty hall, hearkening in an air stirred and shaken by the lonely traveller's call. And he felt in his heart their strangeness, their stillness answering his cry, while his horse moved cropping the dark turf neath the starred and leafy sky. For he suddenly smote on the door even louder and lifted his head. Tell them I came, and no one answered, that I kept my word, he said. Never the least stir made the listeners, though every word he spake fell echoing through the shadowiness of the still house from the one man left awake. Aye, they heard his foot upon the stirrup, and the sound of iron on stone, and how the silence surged softly backward when the plunging hoofs were gone. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this is BDA Limey signing out. Bye for now.